Well, there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of reporters, you know, and of course I was sad that I was going to have to spend 2 years of my life in service. I wasn't very happy about it. Of course, Elvis wasn't either, but he went on and did his part, and I did my part, and we toughed it out and made it together. Everybody had their physical, and then they swore us in to the service, raising your right hand and giving the oath and everything.
Normally they take 2 or 3 hours to give you a good physical examination and all that stuff. But that day, I was the last one, so they were waiting for me. And so they said, "Oh, he looks all right, send him on through." So in a few minutes, we were all standing there together, and we all raised our hands, and we did our solemnly swears.
I've got to go. Oh, 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 oh. We both know why. And though I hate goodbye, too many watery eyes, but love won't let go.
And of course, Vernon and Gladys were there. They walked out and got in this big, long, black Cadillac, which, of course, had to be Elvis's car. Nobody else would have a car like that, his limousine. And Elvis looked back over his shoulders and he said to his Cadillac, he said, "Goodbye, you long, black SOB." And everybody laughed. And then it seemed like after that, he just kind of became one of the boys, so to speak. And we were all talking to him and, you know, having fun then.
We started out with a Greyhound bus, and we pulled into West Memphis, supposed to eat supper. And there were so many people someone had let the word out where we were, and they had just more or less mobbed the buses, and the bus driver had just pulled through the parking lot and on back out, and we went on to Fort Chaffee then.
You're in the Army now, you're in the Army now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Marching all day long, from morning until dawn. My boots are shiny clean, you know my buckles gleam. You'll be a brand new man, 'cause you're in the Army now. Eating with the other guys, our plates are filled with beans and pie. And after we done doing that, we'll all turn in and hit the sack. We go to sleep, we're feeling fine until wakey, rise and shine. You're in the Army.
We spent the night at Fort Chaffee that night, and then the next morning we got up, and we had our civilian clothes on at that time.
My haircut's pretty short.
When we got around to get our haircuts, there was a lot of press. There was a lot of pictures. That was a big thing, the long hair at that time, which wasn't anything compared to what we have now. But there was a lot of people to see Elvis get all his hair cut out. And they cut his hair just as short as they did mine, you know. And it looked funny on me as well as it did on Elvis. They issued our shoes. They measured us real fast, you know, for our shoes and our clothes. And they were pretty well fit. And what didn't fit, you swapped around and tried to find somebody else that had some that would fit.
Many will try to wear that crown, but halfway up they're gonna fall down. You're in the Army now. It's the Army show. B-R-I-V-A-T-E.
And we had to sign for all of these clothes. And we kept these clothes. Our dress uniform and everything was given us. Our boots and our dress shoes, our fatigues, everything like that was given to us.
The trumpet blows, the drums begin to beat.
And then we had to pack all this stuff in a duffel bag, and that's the first time we'd ever packed a duffel bag. And we learned later on, after we was in service for a long time, we could pack a duffel bag real well. But we had a hard time packing our duffel bags, but then we had to load those things on our shoulders and carry them from different points. And every place we went, we had to carry that duffel bag with all our clothes in there.
Everybody got the same size, you know. I mean, if you were a little bit heavy, your clothes were tight. Well, maybe they had 2 sizes, big and small. or big and medium, but nothing fit. And they would ask you right quick what size shoes you wear, and they'd throw you some boots, and whether they fit or not, that was another question.
They would take Elvis and carry him in different places, and of course there was some high brass in there with him, and there was quite a bit of press and a lot of pressure. There was a lot of pressure on Elvis.
Private Elvis. Private Elvis. To a sergeant in the U.S. Army. P-R-I-V-A-T-E. Private Elvis. Private Elvis.
I guess what happened as we got to know Elvis a little better, and we were able to ask questions and realize that he was really a nice person and someone easy to talk with and fun to be around, that we all became sort of protective to him. And we wouldn't, even at that early stage, if somebody would try to kid him or call him Elvis the Pelvis or Hound Dog or something like that, we would stand up for him, and we would even try to keep people away from him, so to speak, because we all sort of felt sorry for him, you know, and instantly liked him as well.
Won't you look into my eyes, so warm and true, so was my heart.
When we got to Fort Hood, of course there was a lot of people there, a lot of cameras, a lot of people looking, you know, but we went on in, and then we were assigned our barracks, which were really primitive. And it was only 4 bathrooms in the whole barrack, 4 commodes, 4 lavatories, the whole 4 showers. And I'm gonna guess there was pretty close to 30 people to share this. So we had a hassle every morning and every night. It was hot, no air conditioning, no fans. And of course this was March at the time we went in, but as the summer went on, it was real hot in those barracks.
The first time he came, we had all of our formal setting in the dining room and the best china and the best crystal and all this. He said, if you want me to come back, Eddie, he says, I want to eat in the kitchen. And from then on, it was in the kitchen. And we always had the food he liked. And when his mother was visiting him from Memphis, she would go shopping to the grocery store with my wife and purchase the things that Elvis liked to eat. And then they would go in the kitchen and prepare food for Elvis. So it was a nice, homey thing. It wasn't like I was awestruck and he was a big superstar and we were looking at him all in awe and gaga. It was all family. He was treated as family. And Anita, his girlfriend at the time. And he liked that.
If only you.
He put on a brave front, but he was very sad. He would get on the phone and call his mother before she came down. And he would say, Mama, and I imagine she would say son or Elvis or something. And from then on, for a solid hour, it was weeping and crying and talking little nonsensical baby talk that they had going between them. And mostly weeping. He was very sad about it all. He really thought his career was over. He told me many times, Eddie, it's all over. When I get back, they won't know me. And I said, Elvis, that's not the case. I said, you've got some records already recorded in the can, and I said, they're going to be released periodically, and your name will always be before the public, and your records will always be heard. I said, you'll come back greater than ever. He said, no, it's all over. I said, that's it, they won't know me.
It was hard for Elvis to get out into the public. People would just, you know, go around him wanting autographs and stuff, and he wanted a little time to himself, so a lot of times he would come out and borrow this car I had, and my 57 Mercury, it was a new car, and leave his Lincoln Continental, and there I was, a private, driving a Lincoln Continental around the base, but he would use my car and kind of go undercover, and he could go places, you know, go to a hamburger stand or something like that, or drive in and get something to eat, or Coke or something like that. Nobody wouldn't bother him because they really wouldn't, you know, look for him in that car.
Found my thrill.
Well, he liked liked Fats Domino. He liked Paul Anka. He liked Connie Francis, Bobby Darin. And I would buy those records for him when he was at Fort Hood, and I'd have them for him every weekend when he'd come. And that was his favorite pastime, is to play records and sit at the piano and sing and with the record and put his own style into it.
That's so good.
Lita, you sang one. Sing one.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no,
man,
no.
you've got to. We've got to have a premiere of your upcoming record.
I had rented a big tape recorder. In those days, they were big as a suitcase. And we just turned it on and left it on, and whatever was going on in the house is what's on that tape.
That is tremendous.
Oh, thank you. That's a beautiful
I can't
song.
wait till your first record comes out.
I
It
hope-
better be a good one. I wish they'd let me pick it.
I do too. It'd be nice.
You could put her on a song like that one, or Happy Birthday, Baby,
Oh, I wish you'd record that. I wish you'd record that one.
or Cold, you know, something with some heart.
Something with the big.
What I'm afraid of is they're going to put on something a little too modern, a little too popular. A little too popular. You know what I
It'll just
mean?
die too quick.
Well, no.
It'll catch on and then fade.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about they're going to give us some music. I'm afraid it's more of a Judy London type or something. And they got to give us something like Connie Francis sings.
Yeah.
Something with some guts.
Something
to
that
it.
just catches
Something with
on
some guts
fast.
to it.
And he would play when my wife Ivy and I would be there, and some of the rest of us, we'd all be around the piano singing, and Elvis would be playing that. Elvis liked to play the piano, and he'd be singing, and he would play, say, Ivy, I'm going to play this religious song for you, because she liked to hear, you know, good religious music. And Elvis liked to sing. We used to go to church when we was at Fort Hood, Texas together and sing, you know, and enjoy it. He loved to sing. Of course, it'd be snacks and things like that. And believe it, it was hard to get even things like Fritos and stuff like that. Of course, this isn't really, we went over to see Elvis, but he always had this kind of stuff. It was nice to eat, you know.
The climax of the basic training is a 15-mile hike with a full field pack on your back, which weighs approximately 80 pounds. And every soldier has to pass that test in order to complete his basic training. So it was, remember, in July, and it was extremely hot, 100 degrees in the shade, and so the medics were constantly coming along and picking up people, putting them on stretchers and all that kind of thing. But I can say that Elvis, as well as myself and Norvell and some others that we knew, none of us passed out. Elvis seemed to love every minute of it. I mean, maybe it was because he had been in that other world for a long time, and this was a chance for him to just be one of the guys. And I think he loved every minute of it. He enjoyed it.
No one knew that she was on her deathbed, but she was. And she came down, she stayed about a month here with Vernon and Elvis, and he would bring them over with him every time he came to Waco. And, but you could tell she was sick. She was overweight, and her face was drawn. She rarely smiled. And, but nobody thought that she was near death. I mean, that was the farthest thing from our minds, really.
A lonely soldier boy can cry for a soldier.
It was a very close relationship. Since he was an only child, his twin brother died at birth. She could have no more children. She coveted him very much. She was constantly worried about him. She would even walk to school with him in the mornings. Even up to high school, she'd walk to school with him, which was embarrassing for a high school student. but she'd walk a block behind him and make sure he got to school well. And she just protected him like mad, and he loved her dearly. I think half of Elvis died when she died. He never got over her.